To the City Council. Present here tonight are board members Mary Beth Burns, Scott Gingold, Beth McLennan, Matthew Rogers, Claire Weinberg, and Andrew Gallimore. I'm Lori Summers, the current chair, so therefore we have a quorum. Also present here tonight from city staff is Melissa Klotz. This is a formal hearing and we have rules that govern our proceedings. Our most important rule is that only one person may speak at a time without interruption. It is not just civility, but it is necessary to accurately record our proceedings. Anyone who wishes to address the board regarding any matter on the agenda will have an opportunity to do so at the appropriate time. Our normal procedure is that we hear first from the staff on the documents in the file. We will then receive testimony and other evidence from the applicant or appellant. After the applicant or appellant has completed their initial submission, any person who has a legal interest in real property located within 500 feet of the property that is the subject of the application or appeal may then present evidence, reasonably question witnesses, or seek a continuance of the hearing. Next, others who wish to make a statement regarding the matter may do so. When all opposing testimony and other statements have been received, the applicant or appellant will be given the opportunity for a final rebuttal or closing statement. Board members may ask questions of anyone offering testimony or statements at any time. All testimony and statements will be under oath. Although we do not apply the strict rules of evidence, we ask that you limit your testimony or statement to your own personal knowledge. When you testify or make a statement, please tell us your name and your address, and print your name on the pad provided if you did not sign up outside. We do not have a court reporter here. Everything that we do is now audio and video recorded. So we do have to insist that if you are speaking, you get up to one of the microphones and adjust it so that everyone can hear you clearly. When all of the testimony, other evidence, and statements have been received, we will close the record and begin our deliberations. We usually try to adjourn around 11 p.m. Any matter not concluded at tonight's hearing will be continued to our next meeting. And we do have a fair number of things to go through, so we'll kind of watch the schedule here and see how we end up. The first order of business, official business tonight, is approval of the meeting minutes from January 17th. Were there any comments or corrections from the board? And did everyone get a chance to review that enough that they feel they can make a motion and or vote at this time? Okay, then is there a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes from our meeting on January 17th, 2012 as submitted.
Second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor and in attendance at that meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
All members that were in attendance have approved the minutes, so those will be put into the record. The next order of business is old business. However, I believe this was just a continuation. We didn't hear any testimony or open this case, so we are starting from scratch on that, and that would be 914 and a half Noyes Street. So we'll read that into the record.
Dennis Doyle, lessee for a special use permit at 914 and a half Noyes Street to operate a Type 2 restaurant, Ice and a Slice. 914 and a half Noyes Street is located in the B1 Business Zoning District, which requires a special use permit for a Type 2 restaurant to operate. The Zoning Board of Appeals makes a recommendation to the City Council, the final determining body. Submitted with the application and entered into the record are the following documents. Special use application submitted October 25th, 2011, standards form, zoning analysis, plat of survey, photo of property, preliminary interior site plan, preliminary interior dimensions, zoning map, and Spark meeting minutes of November 30th, 2011.
Okay, and is the applicant here?
Hello.
Hi. Hi, and your name, sir?
Dennis Doyle,
And your address?
4049 Crestwood, Northbrook, Illinois.
And at this time, if I could have anyone who wishes to speak to us on the matter of 914 and a half noise, please raise your hand to be sworn. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout the course of these proceedings?
I do.
Thank you very much. Could you please describe your project, Mr. Doyle?
Well, we want to open a carry-out and delivery and catering of pretty much just pizza. We're going to have a couple other items on the menu, but we're going to keep the menu pretty sparse. We just want to really do Italian ices and pizzas and maybe salads and a couple fried things. And we plan on, there's no seating or anything, it's just carry out and delivery and catering.
Okay, so there's no expectation of that people will be consuming anything on premises or...
It would, if it is, it would maybe standing at the counter or something. I'm not going to kick anyone out for doing it, but they're not going to be hanging out there too long, you know.
Okay. And do you or have you owned or operated any other businesses in the city of Evanston or in the area?
In the area, yeah, but not in Evanston.
Okay. So you have other similar locations?
No, this is my first time opening a restaurant or any kind of food establishment. I've been in the food business before, but I never owned one.
Okay.
I see on your site plan that you have, or your floor plan, that you show a fryer.
Yes.
But if you're serving pizza and Italian ice,
And I said some fried items too, some side items. Like, believe me, if I didn't have to have a fryer, I wouldn't want one there. But everybody wants fried junk, so I really got to have it there.
And how many employees will you have at any given time?
At the most, to start out, I think we're going to start out with 3. No more than 3 in the place, but I hope I need 10. I hope it gets real busy, but to start out, we'll probably have the managing partner, who's Jim Gadagno. He can't be here tonight; he's working. And then we'll have a girl that is going to be taking orders and doing books and all that stuff. And then we'll have what we call a porter. It's someone that's going to be doing like the cleanup and making sure everything's going right and supplying product to the pizza maker and stuff like that, And as business gets bigger, hopefully they'll have to add more people. But
And your delivery drivers, where will they be picking up orders?
When you mean when they go to load the car?
Yeah, when they stop by at your
We'll
place to load the car.
We'll do it in the back. We'll make sure they're in the back to do that.
They'll be in the back.
Yeah, there's a parking lot in the back that I have some spaces at. I have 2 spaces allowed me, but at night, almost every space back there is open. So, I mean, it's not going to be a problem for the delivery drivers. Across the street and down the street, there are public lots that they'll be able to park in while they're waiting. Like if they don't have a delivery to go right away, the cars won't be on the street.
Okay, so if they're using the 2 spots in the back, your other employees will be able to park in parking lots down the street?
I would say that the employees that are working at the place, not the delivery guys, would be parking in the back, but to load, like when they have a delivery to go, they'll pull in the back to load the car. When they don't have a delivery, when they're just sitting around waiting for something, they'll park in the public lots. There's one across the street and one at the end of the building.
Okay, so the 2 spots would be for employees that are working inside.
I would think that would be the best way to do it.
And deliveries will be picked up from the rear.
Yes. Be loaded from the rear, right?
And is that a shared lot with other businesses?
Yes.
And does the landlord know of your intention to pick up
Yes,
from
it
the
does.
rear?
are your deliveries being made in the rear as well?
For supplies, yeah.
Yeah.
All that'll come in through the rear also.
How often do you expect to get deliveries?
At the beginning, probably only about once or twice a week, but again, hopefully I'm going to need them to come every day.
I'm sorry, I thought you said that you had owned or worked in some other sort of food
I've worked in food.
Business?
Yeah.
What exactly have you done?
I've worked in kitchens since I was 12 and 13, as everything from a busboy to a dishwasher to a chef to I ran a catering kitchen. I was an executive chef in a catering kitchen. I've worked in kitchens a long time, banquet halls.
But this is your first restaurant that you're owning?
Yeah.
Have you managed a restaurant before?
No. My partner has owned, the guy that's going to be working the place has owned multiple hot dog, beef stands, ice cream shops, things like that. He's been in the business before. Not doing pizzas. This is his first pizza endeavor, but he's done other food services.
Can you just confirm there, in terms of the restaurant operation, are there going to be any wait staff serving customers?
And just the counter people, because there's no seating there. So it's just going to be, they're going to be coming in, ordering at the register, turning, going to the counter, walk out. So hopefully.
And so there won't be waiters and waitresses,
No.
correct? Okay, and then in terms of silverware, is there going to be reusable silverware?
No, if anything that we're going to be using would be plasticware, including plates. I mean, we're going to have nothing that's going to be, except the pots and pans are going to be washed, but no plates or silverware.
Just to touch base on the parking really quickly again, so for any employees over the 2 that are actually on site, did you say there was, I know you said that there were parking lots that delivery guys could park in while they're waiting or something, but are there off-street parking spaces elsewhere that?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. At the end of the building, there's, I think, about 12 spots in a lot under the L tracks there.
Okay.
And then across the street, during the day, it's metered and permit parking, but after 6, I believe it is, it's open, it's an open parking lot next to the cultural center there, you know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so during the day, there would be no employees parking on the street.
I don't want my employees ever parking on the street.
Okay, that's where I'm going.
Yeah, no, I don't want that. I want that left open for customer.
Okay.
I think I read somewhere the proposed hours of operation were 11 a.m. to 1 p.m.
That's what we'd like to start at. Of course, we're going to pare that
AM.
down.
Sorry, 1 a.m.
Yeah.
1 a.m.
That'd be short
That's what we
operation.
want to start at, but we just want a 2-hour day. No, we want to start at that, but we're going to pare it down to whatever works best for us. I don't want to be paying staff that's wasting their time there, but I definitely want to be there, until 1 on weekends for sure. I mean, if it causes a problem, I don't want to get in a fight with the people in the neighborhood. I want them to be happy I'm there, not upset.
How did you determine 1 a.m.?
I don't know. It was a shot. I asked how late I could stay open. They said never past 1. I said, all right, I'll stay open until 1. It's really just to see if we need to be open that late. I'm not going to have staff there if they're sitting from 11 to 1. 11 p.m. If we're slow, I'll close at 11. But I want the option to be able to stay open till 1 to see if I need to be open till 1. I'm 4 blocks from a college campus. It's a good chance I'll be busy at 12:30.
Who was it that you asked that said you should stay open till 1?
Me. I didn't ask anyone.
Oh, maybe I misheard you.
I'm sorry. I didn't say I asked anyone. I just decided that I wanted to stay open till 1. Someone asked me how late I want to stay open. I said I'd like to stay open. I said, how late would I be able to stay open? And they said, well, not past 1. I said, then I want to stay open till 1.
Do you know of other restaurants in Evanston that are open that late?
I didn't do a survey of that, no. I would be surprised if there aren't some, though. I mean,
Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody who was here for Wings, we did
I think we
open
did
till midnight, but they could deliver.
We've done delivery later.
Right, they had to
they-
close, but they could deliver till
But
1.
they could deliver till 1,
is that weekends, too?
Yeah.
I
I think that was specifically weekends.
think that was I think that was specifically weekends.
I'll work within whatever guidelines you tell me to work in.
That sounds familiar to
It
you,
does,
too?
yep.
Okay. And has staff given you a copy of the city's garbage pickup plan and litter collection plan to review?
I did not see that, no.
You have not seen that. Melissa, do you know if that's in the packet at all?
I don't think it is.
Well, I'm not even going to bother to try to paraphrase the garbage pickup
Is it
plan
online?
because I'm going to mutilate it. But essentially, the litter collection plan, it's 250 feet?
Yes.
The litter collection plan basically says that you agree to pick up any litter that's out in the public way within 250 feet of your business, regardless of whether it comes from your shop or the Starbucks down the street or whatever.
I'm fine with
You
that.
just
I
have
want-
an employee do that.
That's the porter's job. That would be one of the jobs a porter does. I do not want a place that doesn't look welcoming and inviting to come into, and litter is not something that draws customers. I'm a pretty stickler for that.
Do you have, or can you paraphrase the garbage pickup plan, or?
Is it online?
I can get a copy for you. I believe other than that, you need to send the porter out to do that, I believe, every 2 hours.
He'll be out there a lot. He'll be out there more than every 2 hours to make sure there's no litter out there.
That's the gist of it.
Okay, I don't have a problem with that at all. This is my business. I want it to look good. I don't want it to look like someone's not taking care of it. People are eating food out of this place. I want them to be happy that it's clean, not worried that it's dirty.
Well, any motion we make will be contingent upon those two plans, and we'll ask staff to make sure that you get a copy of them, and if you, please review them, and if you do have any issues with them, then that can.
And where should I get them?
That can come up before council.
Sure. Where should I get them?
We'll make sure that the staff
I'll get
gets
a
you a
copy,
copy of those.
Okay.
So,
Can you describe the business that's run from the location currently?
He does catering out of there. He doesn't sell anything retail out of there. It's all done catering, as far as I know.
Do you know if there's a fryer in there right now?
There is.
There is?
Yes, there is. And has been for like 20 years.
so you'll be using their existing
No.
exhaust system, or?
I'm adapting it somewhat. The inspectors, I had the place pre-inspected before I even looked to sign a lease
Okay.
there. And the inspectors came in and told me what I should do and they said what I had to do and what I should do. And I'm doing all of it.
Okay, so what you're doing will be at least as good, but probably better than what's existing there right now in terms of
Correct.
the
I'm putting a
exhaust
lot
for
of
the
money into this.
fryers
I
and
don't
that
want
sort
it to
of
be a
thing.
problem. I want it to be smooth all the time. And their suggestions make it safer and cleaner, and it's just a better operation if you do it overboard than less.
Okay, agreed.
Will you be adding any signage?
Right now, there's a decal sign on the window, and I plan on changing that out. But in the future, I may ask for a sign, but I don't know if it's going to be all that important. I have to do a lot of marketing for this place, so I don't know the sign's all that important. My partner's pretty keen on one, but I don't think it's going to matter. The sign in the window is going to be changed. It's going to be a decal sign again. But as far as any future signs, we talked about doing a neon sign at some point if possible, but if you guys decline it, I'm not going to worry about it that much if I ever do apply for one.
Are there any further questions for Mr. Doyle at this time? No, seeing none. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to us on this matter? Okay, I see none. So, Mr. Doyle, anything else that you wanted to add before we close
Not
the
that I
record
can
and
think
begin
of.
our deliberations? All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any discussion Nope. All right. Well, this is a recommending case to the City Council, so we will go through the standards for a special use as part of that recommendation. Standard number 1 is that the requested special use is one of the special uses listed in the zoning ordinance, and this is a special use for a Type 2 restaurant in the B1 zoning district. So that standard has been met.
I'd also just note that the testimony shows that the proposed restaurant meets the definition of what a Type 2 restaurant is.
Agreed, thank you. The requested special use is in keeping with the purposes and policies of the Comprehensive General Plan and the zoning ordinance. It seems that, this is a little sort of pocket of activity, and certainly being close to the university with quite an audience to serve, that it is in keeping with keeping businesses, smaller businesses in those types of areas. Any other comments? Standard number 3, the special use will not cause a negative cumulative effect when its effect is considered in conjunction with the cumulative effect of various special uses of all types and the effect of the proposed type of special use upon the city as a whole. Again, generally speaking, it does not seem like there's a cumulative negative effect, and also, generally speaking, the existing use is somewhat similar for the space, other than maybe a little bit more traffic, but in terms of the cooking aspect, that would seem to be similar. So I believe this standard is met as well. Standard number 4, the requested special use does not interfere with or diminish the value of property in the neighborhood. The proposal is to maintain an existing property and to maintain or improve the effect of that property on the neighborhood in terms of the improvements to the cooking and to the smells that might come from there. So it seems that like the value of the property in the neighborhood should be maintained at that level. Standard number 5, the requested special use can be adequately served by public facilities and services. This location is very close to public transportation and a portion of the city where many people will be walking in and or taking delivery, as well as, generally speaking, again, all of the cooking and other supplies and trash, etc., will probably stay consistent with the existing use. So I believe this standard is met as well. The requested special use does not cause undue traffic congestion. I think that that this is probably just the biggest issue for this case, in which I would want to look at conditions regarding the delivery, and particularly delivery drivers accessing through the back, so they're not blocking the street. But if those conditions were met, then I don't think it would cause undue traffic congestion in the area. Standard number 7, the requested special use preserves significant historical and architectural resources. As we've discussed, the existing building will remain in place. The current proposal is for minimal signage. And we would certainly encourage the applicant to either try to maintain that or keep at a minimal level the signage that he does apply. Standard number 8, the request of special use preserves significant natural and environmental resources or features. I'm not sure how applicable this is to our current case other than, generally speaking, reusing the existing space and building. And standard number 9, the request of special use complies with all our applicable regulations of the district in which it is located and other applicable ordinances. It appears that the applicant has done his best effort to get the city involved early on to be compliant with all regulations that are involved, and staff has indicated that he has complied with all items up until this point. So I believe the standard has been met as well. In terms of conditions, I mentioned looking at a condition relating to both the delivery of supplies and pickup for delivery drivers being in the rear. Where are you guys on timing in terms of hours of operation?
I think we ought to keep consistent with our past practices, and I think the plan we came up with for wings was reasonable. And in terms of setting an opening time, the applicants requested 11 a.m., but I think in the past we've set the opening for type 2 restaurants at what? 6 a.m. So that's what I'd propose we do.
So 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. Do we have a different thing? Is it? It's just across the board, 7 days a week?
I can't remember.
What's the question?
I think we might have closed it at 10 Monday through Thursday, Sunday through Thursday.
That sounds awfully early.
Does it?
Yeah, for delivery?
No, not for delivery, but for closing the place.
I don't think we usually change it by day.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do Friday and Saturday different, depending on its location. And this is a fairly, we're getting into residential.
Somebody should keep track of these things.
I know.
Is that Wings or Evanston?
Yeah.
Okay, on their website, they show Monday to Tuesday, 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Looks like we do it every day then.
No, well, he said 12 and then 1 on
One on weekends.
weekends. But that doesn't necessarily mean that's what we approved either.
So who enforces that?
Let's be more optimistic than that.
Open for customers till 12 a.m. and then open for delivery till 1 a.m.
Do you want to make delivery every day? Or just the weekend?
I think you should give them the option. There's certain times of the quarters where they might get some
Finals.
call. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, I imagine they'll probably shut down on their own other
Right.
times.
That's why I was saying that, because I can see that there are going to be times that they're going to want to stay. They're going
Right.
to deliver till.
Till later.
I think that we should leave it as is for 7 days a week, but I would also encourage staff before it goes to council to just look at what we had done for wings and just see if there's a consistency level that we're missing here and we should be keeping. And that can be clarified at that point if they want to make any amendments to that. Is that okay with everybody?
That sounds reasonable to me.
All right. So time and deliveries, any other conditions other than the generic ones?
Garbage and litter.
Yes, garbage and litter as well, yes. All right. With that, is there someone who would like to compile a motion?
Sure. In the matter of ZBA 11ZMJ V 0078 regarding 914.5 Noyes Street, I move that the board recommend to City Council to grant the special use permit with the following conditions. That the hours of operation be limited from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. With outgoing deliveries permitted until 1 a.m. That incoming supply deliveries and outgoing restaurant deliveries will be made in the back, and that delivery drivers will not be permitted to use street parking while waiting. That the applicant will read, become familiar with, and comply with the city's litter and garbage collection plans, litter removal and garbage collection plans, and that the business will be operated consistent with the documents submitted and testimony on record.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I think that was unanimous, so that will be carried over to the City Council. That would be a positive recommendation to the City Council, and you will go on to them next. The next item on our agenda this evening is 14 Elmwood Avenue. Could we read the record?
Cheryl Barrett, property owner, applies for major zoning relief to install a brick paver patio in the rear yard and street side yard. The applicant requests an interior side yard setback of 0 feet where 15 feet is required, zoning code section 6877C2, and a maximum impervious surface coverage in the R5 zoning district of 67.5%, where 60% maximum is allowed, zoning code section 6879A. The Zoning Board of Appeals is the determining body for this case. Submitted with the application and entered into the record are the following documents. Variance application submitted August 15th, 2011. Standards form, zoning analysis, plat of survey dated April 12th, 2007. Site plans, photographs, letter of concern from the Water and Sewer Division, objections from neighboring properties, Spark meeting minutes from January 11th, 2012.
Okay, and are you Ms. Brock?
No.
Oh. First, if anyone who wishes to speak to us regarding 1401 Elmwood Avenue this evening, could you raise your hand to be sworn in at this time? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth throughout the course of these proceedings? Yes. Thank you very much. And again, please state your name and address before you begin.
Cheryl Barrett, homeowner, 1401 Elmwood Avenue.
And I'm Christy Robinson. I'm with James Martin Associates. We're landscape architects.
And please describe your proposal.
The proposal is to put in a new concrete paver patio in the rear yard. We do have a variance of a 15-foot setback from a sidewalk and a corner lot. We're asking from 15 to that to be down to 0. So we're able to put a patio or a walk in the backyard. And the other one is for the impervious surface. On recommendations from the Spark Committee, we were recommended to reduce the size to get it back to what originally was there as far as square footage.
There wasn't an existing brick paver system in the yard. It was a patio, so it's in a different configuration now.
Right. So we're trying to keep it as close to that 60 percent as we can.
Okay, and I'm going to just note that you just handed out copies to the board, which are more or less the survey plan with the plan of the patio in the back, and has highlighted areas for where the, I guess, well, actually the patio is at this point.
Yes, the yellow. It was at one point the green, and we've reduced it. So the green is what we took out. So the yellow is what is there existing right now.
Okay, so when the fence was up around the property, the green was all paver area?
No.
They changed.
The green is what originally went in when the fence came down.
Oh,
And so
okay.
we were asked to remove what was over the property line, which is in green, which we did. And then we were asked.
Okay, so the old patio, this old patio plan is what it was originally.
Yeah.
The green is what it was as an intermediate level, and the
And now we're
yellow
at the yellow.
is where we're at right now.
And the yellow is what you're seeking approval for?
Yes.
And what would be that impervious surface percentage coverage?
It's about 250 square feet,
That is the 67.5%
roughly, yeah.
that's on here.
The way it works out with the city calculations is what they're proposing is actually slightly larger than the original patio that was there, but the original patio was partially concrete and the new one is all brick. And for a brick paver patio, we give a 20% credit to the impervious surface ratio. So the numbers percentage-wise end up being the exact same for what they're proposing now compared to what was originally there, although what they're proposing now in terms of actual size is a little bit larger.
Okay, so it's your opinion that the impervious coverage, in terms of the way the city calculates it, is the same now as to what it was previously?
Yes.
And then, the area from the garage and the end of the yellow back does that not count anywhere? Or how does that factor in?
The driveway area?
Yeah.
That counts as impervious surface area, and that one would have been the same calculation from before to now because they didn't change that portion.
So the paver area underneath the gate and everything was there before too?
There was an apron. The apron was replaced in kind when the back fence went up.
The apron to the garage,
The apron
or the apron underneath the gate?
underneath the gate.
Okay.
Can I ask your motivation for paving the entire
Sure.
rear yard?
I paved it because grass would not grow because of the very large tree that's in the yard, which is half on city property and half on my property. And it was just a mud hole all summer, every summer. And so that my family can use it and have a nice table out there and chairs and a barbecue, we decided to pave it.
What is, sorry, no.
Go ahead.
I was going to change topic a little bit.
Then can I just finish
Yep,
something?
yep.
So I understand that as part of, not this project, but just before it, you enlarged the wood deck as well.
Yes,
So what's going on the wood deck?
it's done.
No, I mean, is that where the table and chairs are going to be?
No, I can show you on the plans where we want the chairs to be, for 6 people in the backyard. So there's not room on the deck for.
Okay, so what function is happening on the wood deck?
The deck has the grill is going to be placed on the deck, so it's closer to the house. And we have bought a 2-seater like seating area for the deck.
Okay. Good.
There's a lot of people are mentioning the tree. What's the situation with the tree?
You mean in the former testimony with preservation? Is that what you're asking?
It's in some letters. It's just mentioned a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's mentioned, and it's absolutely irrelevant to the issue at hand. But the issue with the tree is a large branch of the tree, which was actually on city property, fell in the summer, just as many trees did on our same block this summer. It took out power for a number of hours. Power was restored. This tree has been inspected not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times at my expense by different tree surgeons, and the tree is fine.
When did you put in the pavers?
I put in the pavers June, I believe.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Ms. Robinson, is that your landscape architect? My understanding is that if you pave under the drip line, that you're at risk at possibly cutting roots. I mean, can you talk to me about what happened with that?
I don't know because we did not do the work. We're just here trying to get this straightened out for Mrs. Barrett. We didn't do the installation.
Before any of the work was done, we had, again, the tree service come out and actually look at what the roots were. And actually, the company that did the paving had the tree service guy cut the one root with knowing everything he knows about trees. So there was one root that had to be cut that was a large root. It was close to the house and not to the tree. So it was closer to the garage than to the property line on Greenwood.
And Ms. Robinson, in your professional opinion, is the tree healthy right now?
I'm not an arborist, so I can't really speak to that. As long as an arborist made a clean cut on that root and they backfilled it with gravel and sand, it should be fine. But again, I'm not an arborist, so I don't know.
Thank you.
Have you seen the letter from the Water and Sewer Division that's part of the record?
No.
No.
I'll read you the part that concerns me. It's the last paragraph. It says, the Water and Sewer Division, this is the City of Evanston's Water and Sewer Division, recommends that the request for variance for an impervious surface coverage over 60% be denied. Alternatively, the property owner should address the containment of stormwater to protect the public alley and surrounding neighbor properties. Have you discussed with your landscape architect or considered the containment of stormwater or plan for containing stormwater to counteract any problems caused by the increased impervious surface?
What we did is increased the amount of plant area from the property line in to, or actually from the sidewalk into the property line. So it was originally a very small area, and it's been increased.
Have you considered any stormwater containment plans?
I'm not exactly sure what that means, sir.
Rain barrels.
If we need rain barrels, we can certainly put rain barrels in.
Indoor and underground drainage system. That's another alternative method to stormwater containment, is an underground drainage system, which would actually be more effective because the rain barrels are going to fill up like that.
She got 2 50-gallon ones. She'd have to rip the pavers up to.
And where would you propose those go? At the downspout by the garage?
Yeah, at the downspouts,
At the garage?
Yep.
As well as the house, or just the garage?
if you could, yeah.
The garage has gutters and downspouts?
Absolutely.
And where are the downspouts on the garage?
Exactly where they were in the first place, going out towards the alley.
Right, sorry, I just don't know where they are. So they're on the, I don't know which way north is either, so they're on the alley. Are there two downspouts on on either side of the garage door, essentially?
One that I know of.
There's one.
Again, the garage was replaced in kind.
Mhm.
And not replaced, it was resided and reguttered.
And Melissa, you said, did I read something that said it's impossible for them to comply with 60% with what sewer and water suggests as a maximum impervious surface? Did I read that, or am I making that up?
No, what's impossible for them to comply with is the 15-foot setback. That would cut off most of the yard.
You'd
Right.
practically be in the garage.
Right, but for
So
the.
if we were to reduce the impervious surface to 60%, does anybody know what that makes this patio look like? Did you guys look at that at all, of considering well, you didn't see the letter from,
We didn't see that
Sewer
letter,
and water.
so we just took the recommendations of Spark to get it to the same, or close to the same square footage as it was previous, which I don't think is gonna add that much more drainage issues, just because it's in a different shape than it was before, because we've increased the bed planting areas that will soak up a lot of that water.
And three sides.
Right.
I mean, right.
yeah, but that's really, you're really half a dozen one and 6 the other, because you can say you're increasing the bed size, but you really just reduced the lot coverage. So you used to cover the lot in its entirety and asked for 70% or something like that. Is that right? 71%. So in order to get down to 67.5%, you had to remove some of it. So therefore you increased the beds.
Right, but it isn't
So-
any, my point is, it isn't any bigger than what she had before, just in a different shape. So there's more runoff on concrete than there's going to be on concrete pavers because it has a dry laid base. So some of that water is gonna be absorbed, and since we're not increasing the surface amount, then I don't think there's gonna be that big of a runoff issue.
What was covered
For
in
drainage.
what was covered in concrete initially?
From the, basically from, you can see the rounded patio.
Right.
From the end of the rounded patio all the way to my neighbors at 1403.
So the area
From the
between,
garage to the house.
the area between the garage and the house, the rest of it was covered in brick, it appears?
There's a concrete walk too, I think.
And a concrete, and a walkway.
Yeah.
So are you saying the original plat is wrong because it's not showing any sort of lot coverage between,
No, it's,
Uh,
well, it's labeled concrete on the two corners.
aha,
Yeah.
So south of
Thank
the
you.
south of the rounded brick pavers, was that concrete?
That's actually,
I'm just saying south down on the sheet here.
but it is, because right there it
Yeah.
says concrete and concrete.
Picture shows me
Down
brick.
towards the alley?
Yes.
That says
is-
brick.
From the,
That was
so that was lawn.
yeah, this is.
So there was a rounded brick paver area, lawn, and then
To the right.
the alley.
You can see some of that in the photos that were somewhere in the packet. I don't know where they were in the order, but there's some photos that illustrate a little bit of that.
20%. Because it's all brick paper, so you get 20% more
But you're only getting
Okay.
20%
on that.
on that.
Just so I understand this correctly, we've covered, well, I don't know if we covered here, but you've covered in the memo that this lot is calculated as a whole. And I don't even understand how that works in terms of like trying to give one guy something the next guy does or doesn't have. But it sounds, if I've understood this correctly, I almost feel like I need a chart, that the other 3 townhouses have decks and patios as well. And it looks like, well, is this a typo, or is that really, like, one of them has a 410 square foot patio?
That's correct.
100% of that lot is covered.
They don't have a garage?
Nope.
Okay, so that's how their patio is so much larger, is because they don't have the garage. So that's like a 1-for-1 though. Okay. If they did have a garage, they'd probably be closer to the 200 square feet of deck and patio then that everybody else has. Okay.
Sorry, just getting back to my question. Does anybody know what 7.5% of this lot area is? Like if we ask them to go down to 60%?
Well, they can't. If you look at the memo,
Yeah,
that is.
Tell me where.
If you look at the staff memo.
Yep. Which paragraph?
If you go to paragraph 3 on the big long page.
Yep.
It talks about how you can't get to 60%. And basically, and if you go to the top paragraph, it talks about how the whole site, without the new patio or the old patio in place, is 65.6%. So it's 65.6% with no patio in this backyard at all.
Okay.
What that is in numbers of square feet, I don't know, but that's where we, I guess, obviously we're not getting below that here
Well,
tonight.
can you repeat, without any patio, what's the percentage?
65.
If I'm reading this correctly, the percentage is 65.6% if there's no patio.
No, I think that's misstated.
No, that's taking the entire property into account, so it would be all 4 townhouses and everything that's on the property. So it almost becomes a case of the last person to put in a patio.
Right, gets less.
And then, if I understand that correctly, then staff followed up with a calculation of the old patio in place and got an impervious surface area of 67.5%. So before work was begun on the backyard, they were at 67.5% for the property, is my
Yes,
understanding.
before the old patio came out.
So with the old patio.
It was at 67.5. With the old patio, it was 67.5. When they tore out the old patio for that half a day that it was at 65.6. And when the guy is finished, it was the green area.
Which the green area actually made it come out to 71%. So they did reduce it by quite a bit.
I don't mean to sound simple, but do we know the actual square footage of this patio? The proposed
Yellow?
one in brick, yes.
250 square feet.
250 square feet. So the neighbors have 130, 410, which is really 200, and 100, and you're asking for, sorry, what was it again? 250.
The new patio, it's actually 308 square feet, but with the 20% reduction, it comes down to 251.
Right, but if we're comparing 100% impervious material, it's 250.
Yes.
Okay.
And is that the same calculation that was done for the other 3?
Yes.
So we're talking about each individual place, including the sidewalk on the 14013557.
Yes, every different patio or sidewalk on the entire property was given the proper 20% credit depending on if it was brick or concrete. They were all treated that way.
And can you please tell me what the impervious surface percentage was for each of those then?
I don't have it with me. If you want to see the scratch work for it, you can come in my office and try to make sense of it.
My only point is exactly what you said previously. I, being the last one, seems like to comply, I get less and less square footage as a result because other people have done so much.
Well, and I think that's where we were trying to get, or at least I was trying to get, in understanding where things were at in terms of all of the other properties, because if I look at all the other properties and I assume a certain amount of square footage for that garage the one property doesn't have, then all the other three properties have about 200 square feet or less of, about 200 square feet of deck and patio space, it seems like. So that's kind of ringing to me as like, okay, that's some commonality that we've got that we can carry through here potentially. That being said, if I take 200 square feet and subtract, subtract the 100 square feet or so that is into the deck right now, then I'm back at about 100 square feet.
150.
So
150.
200 minus 100 is...
But she's saying it's 250. Oh, yeah. Sorry if you're doing it that way.
Yeah, I'm saying like if every...
Do the other townhouses all have a single car garage too?
No.
Who's got...
Well, 3 have a single car garage.
And one doesn't.
3, including this property, have a single car garage, and 1 has nothing.
No, one has a
One has a parking space.
a parking space, so they've dedicated part of their yard to a parking space.
Okay.
And 2 have no garage.
Correct.
Oh, well, that's very different.
So one is paved, the entire backyard is paved, and then the last one on the end, probably...
So the 410 paved their entire backyard to do their parking space and their...
Mine is 1. 3 has paved about a half to a third of their backyard for a parking space. 7 has paved 100% of their backyard, by the way, with no permit. And 1, 3, 5,
9.
7. 1, 3, 5,
Yeah,
7 has a
It's got like a little...
has a patio as well as a from the front yard all the way to the backyard, a sidewalk on the side.
Are there lots narrower than yours?
No.
I'm just trying to figure out how
Everybody's got 28 and a half feet-ish.
I believe. I mean, I might have a little bit more,
I think
but
the
that's
ends
not
have a
mine because
little
of
more.
the, where the property line ends and the city property starts. From my property line to the sidewalk
Right.
may look like the lot is bigger, but I actually don't own those last couple feet.
I think because you're an end unit, you have just a bit more with your unit,
So-
it looks like.
Do they actually have a separate PIN number, but we still treat it as one lot? I presume based on this survey that they have a separate PIN number because there's a lot line.
It's just like our condos all have separate PIN numbers, but we're one.
Yeah, I just
A-
would have.
a
I just would have
townhome is-
presumed that Yeah, I know how that happens, but if everybody's straight up and down on the ground,
Yeah, we
Then-
pursued this with Mr. Travis and
Okay.
with
yeah, I
Mr.
just
Lee,
I haven't.
because it was
I
very
guess we haven't.
confusing. But they assured us and showed us in ordinance what
Okay,
what they
I'm
were
just trying to
talking about
understand.
and why it had to be measured this way.
Okay.
I think you said it was 3 that paved for the parking space. Do they also have
Plus
patio?
There's a patio. Yeah, there's a walkway type patio.
Okay. What are all the materials that are used in the other 3?
Next door at 3, it's brick, 100% brick, like the same type of brick that you would use with your house. 5 has 12 by 12, looks kind of slate-ish, but I don't think it's slate.
No, they're like concrete pavers, like big
yeah,
steppers.
looks totally impervious to me. And I can't tell you exactly.
The last one has, I think it's concrete blocks too, like those stepper blocks. Just in one little area. And then they have a walk in the back too.
The pavers that you used, are they actually pervious? Did you put the beds in underneath, that sort of thing, or is it?
Yeah, it has the sand and gravel underneath before,
Right.
yeah, and then so they're not like true one. They are somewhat pervious.
Okay, and then the beds that you've put in,
Talk to that.
are you going to do swale beds, or are you're not going to raise them, are you?
No. They'll be the same grade or.
Well, their lot is already higher than their lot is already like sort of natural. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say naturally. That's the wrong word, but
Already?
the grade on their lot is already higher than the sidewalk and stuff like that.
Right.
And what's under the deck?
River stone?
So pea gravel, essentially. Gravel?
No, not gravel. I mean, like big river stones.
So essentially it's impervious underneath the deck?
Oh, no, not impervious. It allows water to pass through.
River rock, basically.
Like river rock.
Was there anyone else who wanted to speak to us on this case here? No? Okay.
I think this is a question we normally ask and nobody's asked it now because it's such a weird little situation going on here. But normally we ask for what your hardship is or practical difficulty in complying with the zoning requirements for lot coverage.
I think there's a number. 1, 3 of my neighbors have taken up much of the square footage, which leaves me little to work with in terms of complying. The hardship is also that our backyard was unusable for any type of outdoor activity, and we're just trying to be a family that has a place to eat outside in the summer. We've complied with absolutely everything. We didn't know at the time that we had to have a permit for this. As soon as we found out, we came in and started working with the city to do what we needed to do. We've now spent thousands of dollars more in reducing. So I had a patio, I paid for a patio, and now I've reduced the patio. Cost another $2,000. Had to pay for a landscape architect, another couple grand. This has become a huge project that was never intended to be that. And we're just asking to use our backyard.
And for your landscape architect, is there another solution to to making this backyard usable, in your opinion?
Not for what they want to do, no. She needs the space for the table, so there's only, so much more. I don't think we can reduce it anymore.
Yeah.
So I was glad that we got it down to what the very original was from where it was before, because that leaves only room out there for a table and chairs, and that's it. There's no other,
the position of the tree
activity.
is really what is compromising to that backyard. It's so huge that basically from the porch to beyond the tree is a walkway.
Does the tree, did I see in here somewhere, it's considered to be partially owned by the city and
Well,
partially...
it's basically half of it is on my property and half of it is on city property.
So if they...
Yeah, it's taller than the 4-story house. It's huge.
Right.
Can you, on the exhibit you passed out, can you just show where the table and chairs you want to put in go? Because it looks to me like a very large space that's bigger than what's needed for a table and chairs.
So we want the table this way for 6.
So you want to put the table all the way down by the garage rather than near where the
can't fit it
deck
here.
is.
We certainly aren't going to go over here, right? So we just want it down here. Right. This isn't big enough.
What are the dimensions on the deck?
Well,
By 14? I don't know for sure. I think that's what I measured was 8 by 14, somewhere in there.
that looks about right.
And where is the back door on in relation to the new deck?
You didn't move the existing back door, right?
No, you walk the house back
Yeah.
door. Yeah, you just walk right out onto the deck from the house.
But
and then
it's
down.
pretty much almost dead center, like centered on where the stairs are coming down
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
And what is off to the, if I'm, obviously, we're connecting to the garage door, we're connecting to the basement entry, which is over on the right hand or the north hand, if I'm looking at this. If I'm looking at the back deck, what is to the left of the stair? So south of the stair.
Deck to the left and deck to the right of the stairs.
Well, the stair comes down and there's not
Oh,
deck
yeah,
on
yeah,
either
the
side of
pavers.
it. So is there a particular function that is going on where it's paved to the left side of the stair if I'm facing the stair?
No, no, there's,
You can see
it's just to make it look uniform and square.
you can see in the picture, Lori, that there's a planter.
You mean
In the new
whole
picture?
arborvitae line?
No, it looks like there's actually a pot with.
Garbage.
What?
I think it's trash.
You think it's trash? Sorry.
Trash can.
All right,
I was going to say,
the best.
your eyesight is pretty impressive over there
Yeah,
because
it's a bad picture.
That's hilarious.
And actually, that's not there
I
right now.
can't see anything out of that.
the space between the tree and the garage, if you're using that only as a walk space, is there any reason that can't be made smaller? Meaning less paver? Because you're really, it sounds to me like you're really using that, the main spot for the table and chairs is really adjacent to the alley, right?
I mean, it's just, right now, it's just to make it look complete. We've put in 1, 2, 3 plant beds.
Yeah.
I just think it's gonna, if we do anything more, it's just gonna look junky. Just,
You need to have circulation, and the other thing you have to remember with tables and chairs is when we figure space sizes for that.
Yep.
No matter if it's a 4-seater or a 6-seater, you need at least 3 feet from every, if it's square, every side from the table out, so you have room to pull your chair back without being in some kind of planting bed, where the chairs are getting dirty and that kind of thing. So that's why the space is gonna be tight as it is for 6 chairs and a table. So that's why we were trying to kind of, you need that extra space in between the planting bed and the tree, so there's some circulation, so you're not walking into the furniture either.
Was this picture taken recently or after the modifications?
this was, I think this was before modification. This one, you took this one, the one that says new patio?
You know, there's a color version of that down here that's a little bit more easy to see.
Yeah. I haven't seen it since it was redone.
Yeah, these are better.
Color ones. This is,
That's the old.
that's old.
Here's the new.
Yeah, this is, I think this is post. You know what, I can't tell. No, this is pre, because this is an entire planting bed along here now. Along the garage door, that's a planting bed.
Okay, so the photo that says new patio is prior to the
yes,
modification of the patio again.
Should have saved that one.
And there's also a planting bed along the north end of the property closest to the house. So between the house and the garage at the north end of the property.
Do you know how, like, what the dimension is, say, north-south on this space, on this existing paver space now? 11 feet? And do you know then, is it 17? From where the tree is to here, it's 17, or?
No, I think it's 11 by 12.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was going after.
The planting bed along the garage is 17 feet long.
Oh, okay.
So it's not a huge space for a 6-person table and chairs. It's going to be tight. A 4-person set is in a circle is a 10-foot diameter circle.
Yeah, I think the area that I'm most trying to understand then at this point is just sort of that area to the left of the stair, and as it extends.
I just don't want the kids coming in and out of the garage and walking through mud and dragging it through the house. Oh.
Yeah, no, the area that is on the left side of the stair and extends.
Yeah.
So basically, there's the obvious path lines of getting from the garage to the deck and things like that that are somewhat without reasonable, other explanation, but. I guess kind of just briefly for the board, in case it elicits any more questions, that basically is my kind of, I understand the inequity of the situation. However, it's also something that sort of just is. And in light of the specific situation that we're looking at here, it seems to me that finding a compromise for the patio space while providing some amount of relief, that there might be just a little bit more there towards that left side of the stair, but that's kind of where I'm thinking, where my thoughts are right now.
Have we closed?
No, we haven't closed. But I didn't want to, in case, I know you guys are sort of hemming and hawing, and if there's any further
deliberation, I would like to just
yeah,
say.
absolutely. So if there's any other, I don't want to close off anything unless you guys have any other questions. But if you're done with questions, then so be it. Are you done with questions?
I am.
That's just on that, then?
I just have one quick question. So this picture, the color pictures, just to reiterate, this is what is there now, or this is old?
This is old.
This is old, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've covered questions, so if you would like to sum up, then we will begin our deliberations.
I think in summary, I would like you to consider the variances that we've asked for, and please note that we've already made a major accommodation to the space and complied immediately to come to the city and say, okay, we made a mistake, we didn't know we made a mistake, and we're ready, willing, and able to do what we need to do. And to note that I've already spent $4,000 extra dollars on this that my family, one, didn't have, and two, got loans to do so that we could be in compliance. And to think about going back again for another couple square feet really gives me pause, because I don't see the utility of it.
All right. Anything else? Thank you very much, and we'll close the record and begin our deliberations. Thoughts, please.
I don't really know where to go with this, so I'm just going to sit back and listen to you all first.
It strikes me, I think that there is a hardship that's created by the other condos. I also think that some of the hardship may be self-created in building a deck that's bigger than what was there before and leaving less yard space. But I do agree with the applicant that given what's on the other properties, that trying to carve off, like a 6-inch slice of the pavers that are there is not worth the cost of removing them. I think it's admirable that the applicant has tried to literally carve the project back from where it was at significant additional cost, although again, that's a little bit self-created. I'm leaning towards that we ought to grant the variation sought. However, for me, the sewer division's letter is important, and I think we ought to put some conditions in place for storm water collection and drainage.
Yeah, I'd be, if we could put in the beds can't be raised.